not going to be a failure no matter what, because you'll learn from it, right? You'll understand what you like or what you don't like. It all is guidance toward the next thing, right? You might get lucky in the first try. You're just like, bam, I love this thing. I'm gonna lean into it. Some of my videos are popping off, whatever. That's how you do it, because I mean, it's not like 60 days gives you enough space to put the blinders on just for a period of time. It's not a forever decision yet, you know? And that way you have some freedom and you give it a real shot. Because what most people do is they go, okay, I have this interest, try it for a week. Now let's try this. Let's try this. Let's go all over the place, right? Yeah. So for my shorts channel, I said I was going to do it for 60 days. Day 30 came, it was getting just a couple hundred views per day. Normally I would have quit by then, but I was like, I'm going to get to day 60. Day 35, one of the videos had 750,000 views, and all of it, like I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And I gave it enough time for it to happen. So yeah, that's amazing. So like, brainstorm, like dump all the things you have interest in and go, okay, I mean, maybe it's a dartboard, I don't know, but you have to make a decision, stick it for 60 days, and then go from there. Yeah. Sweet, I appreciate it. Yeah, you're welcome. Will you take a photo with me? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, off. Where did this mic come from? I don't know, but I'm into it. It just like appeared.
I know, he just suddenly showed up. You go back a little bit too, so that I can get your 0.5. Did you cry? It was such a small clip too. I actually cried. Okay, stop. It was just so good. Stop. Just stop. It's so nice to see you. Anyway, I've seen you many, many times in many, many different iterations, but it's good to see you. So glad. And we're just going to jump in for a second because we were being the hype crew. Oh, I love it. You go for hype. Oh, okay. Let's hype. I'm good. I love this. Anyway, how real you are in all of your connections. I really appreciate it. I mean, every time I've ever met you in the back of like Pete Vargas, like huge, like 5,000 people or whatever, you've always been just human.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In different ways, different platforms. Thank you.
You're awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, a fan made this for me, actually. I didn't even get to point that out.
One of my clients, Andrea Boulette, has joined your programs, and so she's been talking about you.
Oh, amazing.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
So it's kind of cool when she's like learning from you, and then I'm teaching her too. And
that's so perfect.
That's really cool.
Tag team.
Oh, can I take a?
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Really
Thanks,
quick.
Judy.
Yay.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
I don't know where this mic came from. I'm just, here we are. Hi.
You made me cry again.
I know. Thank you. That was so fun.
You're the reason I keep coming back to social media marketing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. That first year that I came was 3 years ago. It was Keynote. I come from Canada.
Yeah.
And now,
Oh,
every time I come and see you, I watch you on my YouTube, on my TV, like big screen. And then my kids walk in and they're like, "Are you crying?" Yeah, it's Pat Flynn.
The Pokemon stuff? You're watching the Pokemon stuff?
I am a deep pocket monster.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
I'm on Pokemon Go. I love that. Thank you. My kids will be so excited. They're 17 and 15, but we bonded over Pokemon Go in 2016.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
When I took them to my university graduation. I was 4 days shy of my 41st birthday. 2 kids in the audience. And
Let's go.
So,
congrats.
Okay, we're going to try to do this.
Okay.
I just took a photo of her.
Oh, nice.
No, I got it. As long as I'm not tearing up. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Stacey.
Pat, for
I appreciate
everything. I pre-ordered the new one.
Thank you.
And I you know what I love about Superfans? I love that there's storytelling, but it's actionable at the same time. So please keep doing.
It's the exact same way.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
You'll learn even more about it.
It's actually my favorite marketing book. And I use.
Because I tell people, I'm not a professor at some school. I'm not a neuroscientist or psychologist. I'm
You're
just
not boring.
me.
So I worked on a podcast called the Content Call Out Podcast, and we used to get like a lot of the big marketing names like End of Marketing, like Carlos Gill's book and stuff like that. And I had to read a lot of them, and it's like,
yeah.
And I mean, they're great books. They just weren't quite it. Anyways, I'm starting my YouTube channel because
amazing.
It took me 5
awesome.
years.
Keep it up.
I got it.
Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you again.
I appreciate you. Hey, how are you?
I'm Spencer.
Hey, Spencer. Good to meet you as well.
I have questions, hoping to get some feedback on something. I just started my podcast.
Okay,
called
nice.
Story, and
audio or video? Both.
Through
Cool.
audio, video,
Very
doing
cool.
it virtually. And I'm trying to right now. Like I'm torn between I want to continue with my passion of helping tackle the challenges in healthcare and helping people make informed decisions about it.
Yeah.
And having these conversations with physicians, but at the same time, my business helps physicians create content, thought leadership content that they can put out there. And so I'm finding that I don't really know if I want to just tackle the challenges of that, because I don't know if it'll actually be a good lead into my business.
Did you watch Adley's keynote yesterday?
No, I didn't see it.
So if you can, try to watch that, because she really speaks to this idea of knowing contextually who you're serving and what it's about, but kind of expanding the net on the front end to catch more people.
Okay.
And it's I think that would be perfect for you, because she talks about there's this lawyer guy he's a lawyer, he just needs clients for his firm.
Right.
But he has gone wider on social by talking about communication skills. Mm-hmm. And he's got a book out, he was on Diary of a CEO, he's getting so well known on communication. But he just ultimately wants clients, but he's getting in front of more people and becoming more famous, and now able to charge way more because of that as well.
Okay, so you're not saying don't niche down to only talk to physicians, go broader with more things.
On discovery platforms like TikTok, Reels, and Shorts, starting wide. You still want to know who your niche is, but starting wider and see how can I make this thing I'm talking about more of a broad appeal to then capture more people and then bring them into the context of what I do from there on discovery platforms, right? On podcasting, however, you really have to become the go-to for those particular niche, right? It's different. So you could do something where you take clips out from your shows that are more broad appeal to lead people into the deeper conversation for those who are interested.
Okay.
And I think that might be a good next step in strategy. Okay. Also, really important, the hook in the beginning of your show is going to be really key too.
Sure.
I would look at Ramit Sethi from I Will Teach You to Be Rich. He has a remote podcast, but he's the best example of doing it right remotely. Because you don't have a studio and all that stuff, right? You're talking to people elsewhere, right?
Right. They don't have a studio. I have a studio, for sure. Is it worth it to consider taking that whole conversation and turning it into two separate podcasts? One that's for just the general public, and another that's specifically for physicians who want personal branding, who want to build a business?
It's worth experimenting.
Yeah.
You could try that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, the only way to know is to do it and
That's
see
true.
what happens, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I
Cool.
appreciate
Hey,
you.
nice to meet you.
You're awesome.
Hey, thank you so much.
Definitely a super fan.
Thank you. Hi. How are you?
Unload for a second.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. And when you spoke, it really resonated with me because I love the values, the empathy. I used to tell my kids, take random acts of kindness.
Yes.
I have a ministry background, 30 years before I went in the online space. So it really resonated. I already bought your book about the Audible.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Thank you.
Yes. And I was wondering, are you accepting podcast invitations? I would love to have you on my podcast.
Yes. Jess would be the one to reach out to. I'm going to do a podcast tour for the book and stuff, so we could probably fit you in at some point.
Because it's coming out June 3rd?
June 3rd, yes.
June 3rd. Well, I already got copies of it. I just love the messaging, and it's so important to have empathy and to communicate that and be able to serve people totally aligned with it.
Yes, amazing.
That's
Would love to
what I
chat
want.
about that. Let's do that.
Yes.
So Jess will get you the info. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. Hey.
I got
yeah.
a bunch of action shots, but gotta have one cute for the grant.
Oh,
Is that what kids say?
mic drop.
Microphone.
Mic drop.
There's a bunch of video and stuff in there.
USB,
Just do it
so
that
just
way.
close it.
And then it's not my first rodeo. What'd you believe? Anybody else? Cameras stand up? Sure. This is what I'm here for.
There we go. Sorry. For staying and watching.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I
for
appreciate
your
it.
presentation was
David,
amazing.
thank you.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
What I enjoyed the most was that I can see how this is has become your philosophy of life. and
Correct.
That's so profound.
Thank you.
And my biggest aha moment was I can connect with my kids by really putting attention on what they do. That's my biggest note here.
Good.
And I appreciate that you shared that with us.
Oh,
because
my pleasure.
I was not
The second
expecting
person to say
something
that,
like
actually. Yeah, that's cool.
And yeah, I absolutely loved it.
I mean, it's in the same way that I try to get in the same into what my audience is doing. I want to know what they're up to, and I talk to them. And my kids are my biggest audience, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, thank you,
And
Jaime.
so I have a travel agency, and we are so passionate about what we do, and I can see that in your presentation as well. And we are having a conference in Walt Disney World this fall, so we would love to chat about it with you.
Jess can get you info so we could talk. I'd love to. I'm going to be traveling a lot during the year, but if it works out, maybe we'll talk and get the family there or something. We'll figure it out. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate with your message and
Amazing.
everything you shared. It was amazing.
I appreciate it. Thank you, David.
Always a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Jaime.
So much.
Cheers.
Anything for
Sure, that'll be great.
excellent? We got it.
Sorry to make you do
It's okay, no run.
that. Hi, Steve. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah, I saw you earlier in
Yeah,
the
you did,
while I was
yeah.
prepping.
Do you mind if I video the answer to the question?
No.
So I'm like your biggest geek and fan, and I'm always promoting the podcast to our franchisees. So I just wanted to do a little message to them. if that's
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah, thank you.
Lovely to meet you, Jamie.
I'm trying to get the noise out.
Good. Everyone, so I'm here with Pat Flynn, and you probably know I love promoting his podcast. I'm a total geek, as you know. So I think we're up to 863 episodes.
A lot, yes.
And so I've been following you since we started out in business. We've just been voted the #1 franchise in the world.
Oh my gosh,
I'm not saying that's
congratulations.
thanks to you, but I've listened to all the episodes, all the advice. So I'd love for you to be able to give some advice to our team. So I guess the biggest question for me, our team full of first-time entrepreneurs, never worked for themselves before, probably never sold anything. What would your top tip be for anyone who's just starting out in business? It's daunting, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Connect with other entrepreneurs. I don't know if you have a community that people are connecting. I mean, it's huge because I tried to do it all myself in the beginning and I was so lost, and I also felt alone. Entrepreneurship can feel very lonely, but when you're together with other people who maybe have done this before or who are struggling through the same things, you can connect with one another and learn from the right resources to learn what to do next. So that's important. There's a lot of people who've already done this before, so instead of struggling so much, reach out, ask for help. People are more than willing to help, and partner with people too if you can. There's a lot of good opportunities with collaboration to have both parties win, right? So that would be my biggest advice. Like, get out of your kind of bubble, and I know it's scary, but there's so many fun opportunities that can happen when you meet the right people. And you never know, the next person you meet could be the perfect partner, the perfect mentor, the perfect apprentice. And then realize that, yes, in the beginning, you're likely going to have to wear a lot of hats, but eventually over time, you're going to find that there are people who love wearing hats that you hate to wear.
Absolutely.
And you can do what you do best and delegate the rest, as they say.
Totally. And I guess working from home, listening for me, listening to the podcast, that was like having you there in the car or in the gym with me. It's that one-on-one almost. So I'm going to do a shameless plug for your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Smart Passive Income. Listen to it. It's sort of a game changer for me.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate
Brilliant.
that a lot.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Well
Thanks for
done.
that.
Yeah, thank
Great.
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Hi. How are you?
Hi,
Good to
I'm
see you.
Maggie.
Yes,
Such a
good to
pleasure.
see you.
I have to first tell you how appreciative. Oh, yes, yes, absolutely.
Thank you,
Yes.
Maggie.
Thank you.
I want to thank you because I struggle a lot when I listen to some people who say, the sell, you have to sell, you have to have the hard sell. And I'm looking at taking my brand and changing it a bit because I'm, obviously the purple is a thing,
Yeah.
and I lean into that, but it's also fun and theatrical, and it's, how do you take your brand and ever so slightly tweak it? Like, I know I'm on the right path, but I'm missing something, and I can't figure out what I'm missing. Something maybe muddying my message, and I'm kind of, what steps would you suggest I take to kind of solidify that brand?
Yeah.
But also, I guess, figure out if I'm on the right path.
So
where
two
I'm going.
things. Number one, it's hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle. So you got to have a community of people or friends or colleagues, other people that you're working with who are in the same kind of journey as you're on, and just help each other out. These mastermind groups, as sometimes they're called,
Yes.
right? And I got to tell you, sometimes it's so obvious once somebody tells me.
Okay.
It happens all the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. But I couldn't see it because I'm so narrowly focused into the trenches of what I'm doing. I'm not seeing the bigger picture. So it could be as simple as just connecting and getting outside perspective, either from colleagues and friends and or your audience. If you have anybody in your audience who is a super fan who's been with you for a while, empower them. That's going to make them feel special and more tied to the brand, while also giving you constructive feedback in a way that's not probably going to be very aggressive,
Yeah.
right? Which can be scary. So that's one thing. And the next thing is going through like a brainstorming process of where you could go and then just kind of doing micro experiments with them to see, like almost like a petri dish, where you kind of like, okay, I'm going to see what happens when I do this. Oh my gosh, that was a failure. Let's put that away. Let's try it this way now, and let's try it this way now. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of understanding of where you show up best, which can only happen by showing up, that you then narrow down into what it is that you need to do. Yeah.
And those experiments, do you run them, suggest running them concurrently or one at a time?
Typically one at a time, just so you can have focus. But I mean, if you have the capability to silo certain segments of your email list, for example, you could potentially run multiple experiments at the same time. And it could be as simple as getting the messaging right. Here are 5 different ways. I mean, you put in your message in ChatGPT or Claude. I prefer Claude. I say, can you rewrite these in 5 different ways that would connect with my audience of XYZ? I get these 5 examples, and I'm going to do an email. I have, let's say you have 10,000 people on your email list. I'm going to send 2,000 this subject line. I'm going to send the next 2,000 this one, this one, this one, this one. You might find very clearly that there's like a single word that made this group number 2, like just absolutely want to open that email right away.
Okay.
And then you go, oh my gosh, like there's data now coming in to support what I need to do.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So it's these micro experiments that you sort of like, helps you puzzle piece what it is that you're doing together over time.
And cater to your audience,
Correct.
which is beautiful.
Correct.
So I have a favor to ask.
Okay.
I would love for you to tell my users who are small to medium-sized business owners who struggle with social media and establishing their brands, what is one golden nugget you can give them to help
Yes, social media can be scary. You're wondering, like, what do I post? I don't know. I want it to show up well. The easiest thing to do is just share what you're already doing, right? Turn the camera on when the machines are working in the back and just explain what those things are. Or if there's something happening and you're doing a brand logo change, like open up the camera and talk about it a little bit. I mean, just opening up the factory doors a little bit is an amazing way to connect with people. And it's just interesting. People have been watching, what is that show, How It's Made.
Oh, I love How
for like
It's Made.
30 years,
It's a
because
great show.
you don't even care about what that item is, but you want to know how it's made.
Absolutely.
So you can have your own little How It's Made show about what you're doing and who you connect with. And because of social, it might end up getting to the right people and then blowing up. So that's it's easy. You're already doing those things already.
Right.
How can you just turn the camera on, tell a little bit of a story?
So like peek behind the curtain.
Little behind the scenes. Yeah. Just like when you go into a Krispy Kreme, like, yes, it smells good, but then you see that glass window and all the little donuts are flipping and the frost is coming down. And you're just like, oh my gosh, right? Like, what's your version of that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Cool.
So much.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Maggie.
Can we get a photo up?
Okay, I have to change from video though.
Okay.
Give me just a sec. All right, you got it.
Oh, wow, that was quick. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie.
There's a bunch on there, so get ready for it. I would love to. That's very important. You're so
Thanks,
welcome.
Jackson. It's good to see you in the audience, man. Thank you for the audible responses to some of my jokes and stuff. I appreciate that. Yeah. Felt like the message hit home for you a little bit?
I've had this conversation 10,000 times with my teams. Jake Larson, best mentor I've ever had. One of my best friends in life. And John Maxwell's book, Do Good Anyway. The whole process.
Yeah.
I'm twice divorced. I'm a single father of 4. And it's because of you and Jake. Outside of shit. I have been able to learn things, be there for people, be there for my team members and stuff. There's a trend in the solopreneurship world where VAs are hired, and over 50% of the VAs that I hire in the East cry in my interviews with them because they have never been respected by an American the way that we care for them and take care of them. And it's through what I've learned from you and Jake that happens. My question for you is, it's like a traumatic reality, it's like how do we help entrepreneurs understand the value of taking care of the people and still feed them the processes. You do such a good job like leading people and teaching them all the little mechanics, and how many pieces come together for the success as a whole. Do you have any words of wisdom for me? How do I stay focused on the optimism with the reality of what's also happening?
How much have you stepped forward to draw a line in the sand and really showcase the enemy here, not necessarily a particular person or company, but rather like how much have you brought to light the tragic stories that are there, because those again are what connect, right? Charity Water is an organization that puts water in villages and places that don't have clean water. Their marketing for a while was like, we've helped 300 million people and all these things, and it's beautiful what they're doing. But they changed their marketing to, here is a single child, here's his name, and look at how malnourished he is, and look at what is now happening because of Charity Water, and your donations can help this child and many other children like that. And it just like, it hits home for everybody's viewing, right? So I think if you bring the realness of what's happening to the forefront and share those individual stories, if you had, for example, a VA that you had
that was working on a trash can flipped upside down, that was her chair. After her previous client said, "You're not worth half what I pay you."
I think that story needs to be heard.
Yeah, I do too. So how do you stay with the positive upbeat relevance, right? As with the business owners you're talking to who want their third house, right, or their plane or their boat, right? And that's
how
the
can you make it
situation
so that
people
everybody
are
wins is the
that's
way
what
that
I'm looking for.
Right. So how can you support and educate an entrepreneur who wants a VA so that they know that actually the better they treat the VA, the more successful they will be, right? Where everybody wins. And I think if you can paint that picture and really showcase that, then I think there's a world where people start to turn on those who mistreat their VAs. And almost in a way, you kind of create this movement. It could even have a name, this movement of yours.
Opportunities. And we have the water project on our episodes, every single episode. So that Charity Water is,
That's amazing.
yeah, it inspired at least one piece every single time. I thank you for it.
Yeah, thank you. So good to have you here.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
We can do the photo together.
Can't turn that down.
Thanks, Jack.
You're doing the video. I'm not going to say no. Yeah, nice.
What's up?
My name's Michael.
Hey, pleasure.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
First of all, you've been canonical for me. I absolutely love your work. Followed you forever. Did not know about your Pokemon channel until today.
Oh,
which
yeah.
feels like a crime, and I'm so happy. So quick, 10 seconds on me, and then I have 2 questions for you. So I've been publishing science fiction books for 8 years now. Built a software company for authors to help them build memberships while I was at Harvard. Worked for Mr. Beast. I just quit to do 2 things: help authors sell their books before they write it, and help big creators go beyond the screen and build memberships and catch their audience up. So you talk all the time about building deep connections with super fans. I'm right now working with a few top creators in the entertainment space, for context, who have, I would say, focused on the Patty Galloway views maximization paradigm, which I love. Patty, great stuff, but they have almost no conception of who their audience is or why they're there, yet get millions of views a video. If that's you, where do you start to actually begin developing that understanding and move people up the pyramid?
I mean, at that level, I mean, if you think of Mr. Beast, for example, I mean, everybody's watching his videos, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, who is this audience? It's literally everybody, and they have the different languages in there, so it's, I mean, quite literally the world is watching.
Yeah.
So I think at that point, if you're at that level, it's about talking to the creator, understanding, well, who do they want to serve more? Who's in this world of people who are watching you from all around the world, like, what interests you? So that you would get up in the morning and communicate with them, even if you didn't get paid for that. Who would you want to connect with that would get you excited, right? And this is, I don't know if you saw Natalie yesterday speak on stage.
She was great.
She was great. It's this idea of, okay, you have now unlocked the cultural sort of relevance. Now you can choose. You have the benefit of, at that level, choosing your contextual relevance.
Brilliant way to frame it.
You know what I mean?
Love it. Yeah,
Cool.
No, totally. And then one other thing, just a question. I know you have a super busy schedule, but your new book sounds amazing. I have a podcast. I'd love if you want to come on it just for a quick 15-minute interview when you're ready for the book launch.
Jess will help you with that.
Amazing. So I'll get her contact, be in touch, because I love recommending books to authors.
Thank you.
We got to get everyone reading it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, before you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, I'll take a picture, too, if you don't mind. Okay.
That's what I'm here
That'd
for.
be beautiful.
Do you want me to hold the
Sure.
By the way, I'm assuming you've read Oh, my God.
Wow.
That's so
I have
cool.
a few.
Oh, you're the best. Okay. I'll read this and be talking about it on Skype.
Okay.
Amazing.
Here, I'll sign it for you.
Oh. Thank you. By the way, the magic moments teaching, like that you inspire people to do, is gonna change the world because it's the one thing missing in so much of our life.
I mean,
The doom scrolling paradigm, right? How do we break the doom scroll?
Correct.
And connect with people.
Thanks.
So no, you're amazing.
All right, I feel like they like each other. There we go. We got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay.
So much.
Hi.
Lisa Kennedy, and I just want you to know my son's always collected Pokemon.
Oh, amazing. I have some
and
packs left.
They have, I got one.
Oh, you did?
But they
Okay.
have a huge binder with all their Pokemons in there.
Yeah.
And it's in the storage unit because they're grown up now.
Yes.
So, but they play Dungeons and Dragons and World of
My
Warcraft.
son's getting into that
Yeah.
now, yeah.
And then we used to always go to BlizzCon when it was in Anaheim,
Mm-hmm.
and so. I'm gonna look back on their Pokemon cards. They're all in the case in their
Took
plastic.
good care of them.
I did.
Oh, amazing.
I did.
That's really rare. I mean, those
Yeah.
could be worth something.
I know. I have to go through them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a website called TCG for trading card game,
Okay.
tcgplayer.com.
Okay.
If you were curious about the value of them,
Okay. Perfect.
it's like a website. You can look them up.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Oh. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
There's at least 30 in there.
Oh well. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Now,
perfect.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna-
I'm here until there's nobody left. No, thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm
How are you?
Stephanie.
Stephanie, pleasure to meet you.
So nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
you as well.
I work for Molly Mahoney.
Oh, do you?
I
Yeah.
do. Who is
I love Molly.
somewhere.
Yes.
She loves you too.
We saw her yesterday.
I literally messaged her. I was like, I'm in Pat's session. It's amazing. And she was like, I love him. Go get a picture. I was like, yes, ma'am. So I'm currently helping her build her brand. So I'd love to know.
She's still doing the prepared performer
Yes,
stuff.
big time. And so, like, for me, because I'm not necessarily building my own brand, even though I'm obsessed with French butter and that's what my Instagram's all
I love
about. I'd love to, like, be able to support her more in that. So, like, using the hand method, would it be me doing that thinking about our clients rather than, like, myself and my audience is just focused on
Yes,
her?
but you likely have so much value you can add from your experiences too to add on top of it. But yes, like the people, who is it that this business ultimately is serving? That's where you would want to start.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
really cool.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
May I take a picture
Absolutely.
too? Yay.
Excellent. All right, we got it.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Pleasure to meet you. Hi. Well, pleasure to meet you.
Can we just take a quick picture?
Absolutely, we'd be happy to. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. I gotta say, I haven't thought about Pokemon for 25 years.
Really?
150.
Oh, did it pull you in? Dude, I got a journey together.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you said.
Anyway, my question to you is, I feel like your message was quite contrasting to a lot of the messaging I've got with AI, right? And I feel like there's I feel like AI is creating a lot of BS content. I feel like the content you're creating kind of stepping away from that. So would you suggest, obviously it's a tool to...
It's a tool. That's how I
It's
use
a
it.
tool.
I use it to assist me with telling the best stories, for example.
Yeah.
I never pull from it and just paste it because anybody can do that. And then, like, what's the value that I'm bringing?
I know, and that's what I feel like a lot of people are leveraging it, and they're not bringing the value.
That
There's a lot of
stuff
crap
works
now.
for a small period of time, and then everybody catches up, and it's like, now it's like, you got to make a change. Rather, how do I stand out now? So that when people realize, oh, I should have been, real the whole time.
Are they like, just the message of bring it back to that human connection?
Cool. Thank you.
Last question.
Yeah.
Is our audience is we deal with members of the Australian Defence Force, and they don't like to. It's very hard to get engagement. It's very hard to connect with them. So maybe do you have any recommendations there? With
I mean, engagement in certain spaces are hard where you're looking for a reply, just like, is anybody here? Right?
Yeah.
How can you get it so that a person who is watching reacts so much that they would want to send a personal email to you?
Yeah.
Like reverse engineer from that.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And of course, that's connecting emotionally, connecting on their level.
And we'll get DMs and we'll get messages
Yeah.
in private. It's so hard to get that engagement on the actual post.
Right, and there could be security reasons or other things
Yeah.
that are involved with that. So you can't take that for face value. That you're like, oh, I'm not good at engagement. It's just in the space you're in, it's pretty unique.
Yeah.
So you can find a space like in the DMs where maybe they're more comfortable sharing, and of coururse it's going to be a small percentage.
Yeah.
But I do the same thing with fan mail. I get fan mail, and that's a good sign that I'm hitting the right notes for everybody else who's not even gonna pick up a pen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cool, man.
Cool.
Do you mind if we get a quick photo?
No, not at all.
Mind?
Please.
Cheers, man. Love your work.
Thanks, Kieran.
There you go.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kieran.
Thank you. All right, take care.
Appreciate it. Take care. Hi.
Hi, Pat. Milan.
Milan.
Sincere listening to your podcast.
Oh,
Great
really?
chance to be at the
Oh, thank you so much
presentation.
for being here.
Great, perfect.
Thank you.
A question. I would like to create a scavenger hunt for the people visiting Prague because I'm from Czech Republic.
Cool.
Well, like not mobile application but web application. Yeah.
Yeah.
That you are able to discover the city on quite funny way. How would you start to create the community?
I would do
if
it
this makes sense
in person
at all?
first.
Okay.
So with people who are there or tourists, or set up some way, maybe partner with a travel company and go, hey, I'm going to create an experience for your people. It's nothing online yet. Let's prove the concept. Two things could happen. Number one, you do it and you're like, I hate this. I'm really glad I figured out I don't want to do this.
Like test with the people.
Test,
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course.
Or you might do it and go, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Hey, now that you're done, how could I improve this the next time?
Yeah.
And now you're taking all those notes and then you can build your thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right.
Fine.
I'm going to take one sideways too. There you go. You're all set.
Cool. Thank you, Milan. Appreciate you. Thank you. Hey, thanks for sticking around.
Hey, no worries.
Yeah, all the way to the end.
Thank you so much. That session was amazing.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, incredible. And your success on YouTube, like, so basically, like, I saw that you advise other SaaS, like B2B SaaS. Do you? Because I'm thinking we're still pretty early, like in terms of like our footprint on digital. I was thinking like YouTube is, potentially like a good channel that we can focus on. Do you think that for B2B SaaS, that's
It is, but it's not going to be a wide look like what we got. But if you can create stuff that is like so spot on for your people that you just become the go-to resource. Anytime anybody searches for it, anybody who just talks about it, like your stuff is always going to be recommended. That's the approach I would take to start. And then you can experiment with, I don't know if you saw Adley yesterday speak on stage at the end of the day. Because she talked about knowing who your niche is, creating for them, that's where you start. But then phase 2 is you like broaden the reach and you make it more general, and then you funnel people in after you've gotten that down. So I definitely think YouTube is great, and I think if you have access to your people already, asking them what kinds of videos you'd want to see might be a great place to start. But then using the normal YouTube strategies on top of that, like good title, good hook, good thumbnail, all that kind of stuff is important for sure. But it's worth experimenting, and I would do it for 90 days.
Okay.
And at the end, then you can assess whether or not it worked or not. But that way, it's focused for 90 days. Let's learn from people who are doing YouTube. Let's take these examples and try it on in our space. And then at the end of 90 days, you'll at least have given it a chance. Right. And then you can go, okay, let's pivot from here. Here's what we learned. Or okay, let's try for another 60 days, but let's do this instead. Right. That kind of putting your blinders on is going to be really key for any experiment.
I feel like that's a big learning, like not just from your session, but multiples, like really focusing in on one thing and just going all in.
You got to give it a chance, but that's why I like 90 days. Okay, I see it on the calendar. There's an end. So let's grind through it. And then knowing that it's not going to be forever, or you might find that, oh my gosh, this is working. Which is what happened with my shorts channel.
So good. So good. Yeah, loved it. Can I get a photo?
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
For sure. Jess can take it for you.
Thanks so much.
That I always